Not even close.
We're enforcing the law and arresting people here in violation of law that are public safety threats. That's not disappearing people. That's enforcing the laws of this country and making this country safer.
I thank you very much for explaining what ICE considers to be a danger and a criminal threat.
That guy.
That guy. I mean, that guy was hired by Obama, John.
Yeah.
And he goes on to become the ogre of Trump 2.0.
Yeah. And again, we could just take the secular angle on this and say that it's all a fraud. If they wanted border crossings to stop, they'd go after the employers who do all the hiring. They'll arrest everybody in the meatpacking plants, but never the two guys in the back room counting the money. That's how you know it's a scam. They won't go after the people putting up the help wanted sign at our border. Trump's protecting the agricultural workers, but on a spiritual level, it's especially evil. And one of the things I wanted to do with this book was to say, you don't have to argue with Christian nationalists. Make them argue with God. Make them argue with Jesus. Because the God of the Old Testament is unambiguous. He commands us to welcome the stranger, commands the Israelites to treat the alien as one of your own. Jesus shows up, and as I said in Matthew 25, goes a step further and says, individuals and nations will be judged by how they welcome the stranger. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't have standards on who comes into the country, of course. It's the criminalization of migrants and legal asylum seekers where the racist part comes in.
Well, and Caroline Levitt, but she was asked by a reporter, should ERs check immigration status before treating a dying patient?
Oh, my God.
And she said, she dodged it. She said, that's probably not a question for me to answer. I think that's a question for healthcare professionals and legal experts to answer. Now, she got a lot of grief for it, thankfully, from doctors saying, Dr. Jonathan Reiner from George Washington University, he said, the idea of denying emergency care based on immigration status is grossly immoral.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Requiring ERs to check immigration status before providing emergency care to a dying patient would be grossly immoral, and no doctor I know would comply. Thank you, Doc. I mean, it's a violation of the Hippocratic Oath, as far as I'm concerned.
Of course it is. It's a violation of the New Testament. But these Republicans are going to forget those facts faster than they forget that it was a Republican Trump supporter who shot up a Mormon church over the weekend and murdered people, and they tried to blame it on the left again. Now, if that had been a Muslim who did that, do you think the media would have forgotten the story by Thursday?
No.
Do you think that story would be completely an afterthought by the end of the week if it had been a liberal or a trans person? But again, when it's white conservative on white conservative violence, if they can't care.
Right. They don't. They don't. You're absolutely right. And you also were talking about it's not the guns. It's not the guns. This is what everybody else says. It's mental illness, SSRIs, violent films and video games, which is why countries without regular gun massacres also have no mental illness or SSRIs or violent films and video games. You know,
all of Europe and Asia, they kept antidepressants and video games away. It's incredible. And that's why they have no gun violence. Wow.
I know. Isn't that awesome?
That, huh?
I mean, it's just I mean, there's the gun problem in this country is, first off, the guns, but secondly, it is mental health. It is poverty. It is a lot of things that contribute to that. So it's not just the one thing. But I think if we were not to allow, say, I don't know, automatic weapon or semi-automatic weapons to be available to civilians, I think things would be a little bit better.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe expanded background checks, maybe registering every gun like cars. You know, I was on Piers Morgan the other day, and these white Christian nationalists were just screeching, "There's no law that would kept Charlie Kirk from being murdered by a liberal trans, which he wasn't." And I'm like, excuse me, if Grandpa had been required by law to secure his weapon in the home, that would have stopped this kid from killing Charlie Kirk. That would have stopped the Sandy Hook killer from killing his mom and all those kids. They don't care. They're not pro-life. They don't care about preserving American life. They don't care about stopping the next massacre. They care about power. And that's why the shutdown's happening, because Trump wanted it to.
Yes.
This is not like any shutdown in the world. Russell Vogt, this has been his porn since he was in high school, which was only about 10 years ago. I mean, like, they want to traumatize federal workers. They want to have this Black Friday sale for authoritarianism, and they are going to use this deliberately to gut the civil service. Again, like it's at least 20% of federal workers are African American. In Georgia, it's 40%. Federal jobs are one of the few steady ladders into the middle class for our veterans as well. And they are going to set this on fire and fire thousands more people. So when the government does reopen, there won't be much government left to reopen. And they're still trying to make the Democrats the bad guys on this, while Trump, like a terrible Bond villain, can't stop monologuing exactly what he's doing. I mean, when you shut it down, you have to do layoffs, and they're Democrats.
Right.
I mean, you're saying your plot. I would soon lay off 500,000 Democrats. I'm monologuing it all to you in advance, Mr. Bond, because I'm so smart. This is what they're doing with the troops in Portland and trying to get control over universities, trying to get control of our elections. I mean, the shutdown is part of it. They wanted this shutdown. Democrats know it, but if Democrats didn't do it, 20 million low-income and disabled people would lose health care, and the media still allows these people in the Republican Party to call themselves Christian.
Oh, I agree. I mean, we can play it here. Mike Lee, number 4. This is to your point about Russell Vogt.
Please.
Russ Vogt, the OMB director, has been dreaming about this moment, preparing this moment since puberty. Russ Vogt has a plan, and that plan is going to succeed in further empowering Trump. This is going to be the Democrats' worst nightmare.
That was Mike Lee from Utah, basically saying what you just said. And Donald is now admitting that he loves Project 2025.
And meanwhile, also yesterday, Mike Johnson tried to say that Russ Vogt hates this sort of thing.
He did.
He didn't try to say it. He lied through his teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
He lied through his teeth. America's creepiest youth pastor.
Yeah, here it is.
Russ does this reluctantly. He takes no pleasure in this. Oh, please. Because Russ has to sit down and decide, because he's in charge of that office, which policies, personnel,
he just feels awful, I gotta tell you.
Programs are essential and which are not. That is not a fun task.
Oh,
and he is not enjoying that responsibility. And if they keep the government closed, it's going to get more and more painful.
Russell Vogt can't stand this, folks. Jody, Russell Vogt can't stand this. I'm the Speaker of the House, and I'm here to tell you he feels so bad about hurting these people, and I only watch all that gay porn on my hard drive to remind myself of how much I despise it.
Oh my! Now that's alleged. That is alleged.
That's alleged, of course. Just alleged. But you know.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, the fact that Donald is now admitting to loving Project 2025 after denying knowing about it last year several times.
But this is what they want. They like destroying the lives of career public servants. They like destroying government services for regular people while making sure his buddies get everything they want. It's like a landlord who's evicting all of his tenants to make a Chuck E. Cheese just for billionaires. Again, the pain is the point. The Office of Management and Budget told the agencies to cut anything not consistent with the president's priorities. Think about that language. That means if it helps children, if it helps non-white people, if it helps workers, it's not consistent with the president's priorities.
Well, yeah,
we know who they're going to hurt here. And I mean, thank God we've got Fox News prompter monkey Pete Hegseth bringing the generals over to give us some comic relief in the middle of all this, because they're going to try and blame it on the Democrats, and a lot of people are going to get hurt because Donald Trump doesn't want to reopen the government.
I agree. And we were talking about this earlier. I think we talked about it yesterday. The Republicans have 53 votes in the Senate, and they could just make a rule today that no filibuster is necessary for this bill, just for today, just this one bill, and they only need 51 people to vote yes on that, and then they only need 51 people to vote the bill to go through. So it's on Republican. When Caroline says the Democrats could do this, it's like, no.
Yeah.
It's on the Republicans, kids.
Oh, yeah.
And luckily, people are
But
getting
again, they won't do it.
No, they won't. They don't. They love the fact that it was filibustered, because then it's not on them as far as they're concerned. But luckily, the public...
Yeah, this is not a shutdown. This is deliberate sabotage in broad daylight. They are using shutdown to accelerate Project 2025. They're trying to turn us into Hungary with worse food is what they're trying to do. And they're just getting started. They're just getting started.
You are absolutely right, sir. And it's, oh my goodness, it's already, sorry about that. It's 49 minutes after the hour. So it was lovely to see you again, sir. I'll see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Best-selling author.
Thank you for letting me rant. I'm playing at Zanies in Chicago this Wednesday, our first date on the book tour, and you get a free book with purchase, which is good because they're all sold out elsewhere. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Separation of Church and Hate is the book, and as soon as it's back in reprint, second printing is coming out soon, so go buy it.
I'll be grubby and whoring myself all over until then. Thank
all
you.
right, thank God.
Thanks,
all right,
John.
thank you, John.
I wanted to talk to you both, Yahweh and Yesh, because I wrote a book, and it's about you guys, but it's really about some of your fans, the mean ones, the racist ones, the homophobe ones, the ones who don't like women. You guys come off really well in the book. Jesus, you come off really good in this book.
Yeah, I've heard that when people talk about the Bible, they tell me that God, you come off really well.
Said no one ever.
Jesus comes off really well. Yeah, no, God, you're very impressive, God. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but you there's some moments, Almighty, where you're kind of the alcoholic step God. You know what I'm saying? But Jesus, he's chill throughout. Like he's proof of evolution.
But John, people have been twisting my message, right? And that's what this book is about.
It really is, Jesus. I mean, I've gone through this book of yours many times. You never said anything against the gays. You never said anything against women having to be forced to be pregnant. I mean, you're not against abortion. You're against the death penalty, Jesus. I know that. You're like your dad in that you tell us to welcome the stranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the right people are twisting my message left and right, and we can't take it anymore. So we're so excited to have this book, a really rock solid resource to show people what the Bible actually says. And that's why we love you, John. You're spreading our true good word.
Simon & Schuster's Avid Reader Press presents Separation of Church and Hate, the bold, hilarious new book from John Fugelsang, available September 9th and on sale now at your local independent bookstore or your favorite non-evil website.